Since the beginning of this season, when the television quiz show has gotten so much trouble, there was quite a bit of panic button pushing on Madison Avenue. But they filled up all these lagging time spaces with what they call information and education type programming, and our particular contribution to that sphere of entertainment is what we call the special events interview. Hello there, young man. Would you come right in the studio? We're almost ready to go on the air. I say, sir, would you come right over here, please?
Huh?
Right over here?
Oh, you ready for me?
Yes, I sure am.
Oh, this is wonderful. This is a TV studio, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is.
By George.
You find it interesting?
I certainly do.
Never even been in a television studio, huh?
Never been in one. Mm-hmm. Hello out there in TV land!
No. We're not on the air yet.
Oh, we're not on the air.
No, we have a couple of minutes before we go on the air. I thought you might appreciate the opportunity to come in a little early, get oriented.
It's an Oriental show?
No, I mean just to become familiar with our procedures.
Oh,
here.
Fine.
There's not really very much to remember. You've probably seen our show many times.
No, I've never seen your show.
What's the matter? Don't you watch television?
All the time.
Well, what do you watch?
Mostly All-Star Bowling.
Oh, well, that's a good show.
I like the music on it. It's very good.
The music on All-Star Bowling.
It's very good. It's very zippy.
Yeah.
I also like Huckleberry Hound. That's a good one.
Huckleberry Hound, yes.
Hello, boo-boo.
Oh, yeah. Yes, my children enjoy that show. Well, this is an entirely different type program.
Keep them postcards coming in.
Hold it. In the first place, it's those postcards.
Keep those postcards coming in.
Please don't solicit any mail.
No soliciting mail.
No soliciting of any kind.
No soliciting of any kind.
No, we only have a short time. We'll be on the air here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now then, there are a couple of things I want you to remember.
Fine.
First of all, when I ask you these questions, I want you to speak right up and give me clean, direct answers.
You can count on me, like the fella says.
Well, and incidentally, try and keep your voice at one level.
Keep the voice at one level.
Yeah. Now, and don't shift around like that.
No, sirree, Bob.
You see this spot here on the floor?
I didn't do it. I just got here.
No, that's your mark.
Oh, that's the
mark. Now, I want you to stand right on that mark.
Stay on the mark.
I stay on my mark.
You stay on your mark.
And that helps our camera operators know when. I say that helps our camera operators because we work this particular show with these two cameras, the number one and the number two camera. Now you see, both of these cameras are immobile.
Both of these cameras are in where?
They're fixed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, that means they do not move. They do not move, and they also are already focused on this particular area.
Right, that's good deal.
Also, all our lights are set on this area.
I tell you, I understand this because I have a box brownie at home, you know.
Well, this is a
Once I get set, I say, don't move now.
Yeah, all right. Now, we're just about ready to go. Would you like a cigarette?
No, I've got to drive.
Oh, all right. Perfectly legitimate cigarette. We're about ready to go now, so you just stay loose and relax like that. You sure don't seem nervous.
Oh, that's nonsense.
Well, I always thought so. I'm a little nervous for every show, and a lot of people, when they realize there's going to be some 50 million people watching them, kind of choke up. So you just stay loose like that, and we'll have a great interview tonight. We're just about ready. Good evening. Welcome once again to another special events interview show, and tonight we're delighted to have as our guest one of America's outstanding professional men, a man that has a gentleman who smiles, sir. A gentleman over here who will tell you his name. Would you tell us your name, sir?
Jeez, you're going to ask that right away, huh?
No, it's your own name.
Oh, I knew it this morning. It was,
well, concentrate.
No, it's a shorter name than
that. Name.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dick. Dick! That's it.
Dick,
happy birthday to you.
Come on, your last name.
Dick Martin.
Dick Martin.
It. Oh, that was touch and go, wasn't it?
You were a little nervous right at first, weren't you?
Just a smidgen.
Well, now you can relax. Just conduct yourself as if you're in your own home.
Well, I better not get that rowdy.
Just want you to feel amongst friends because you most certainly are. And don't forget to stay right there in your spot.
Stay right there.
Now, would you tell us, Mr. Martin, we'll go right on and examine your background if we may. Would you tell us, please, what is your vocation?
The first 2 weeks in July.
No, I didn't.
We generally go bat hunting up in Fargo.
Bat hunting in Fargo?
With buggy whips.
Oh,
That's
really?
kind of fun.
Well, that does sound like a fun vacation.
Oh, would you come with us next year?
Well, if I can make it, when do you generally
We
go?
generally leave about the first of...
No. Listen, we are diversing here. I really wanted to find out what you do for a living.
Oh, I'm a doctor.
You're a doctor.
A DM.
You mean you're an MD?
MD.
You're an MD. Yeah. Well, tell me, doctor, exactly, I understand that in this age of medicine, most men specialize.
Yes, how about that?
Well, it's almost necessary, isn't it?
I
Because there's
sure
so many
say it
different
would.
fields. In what field do you operate, doctor?
Well, we don't operate in the field. We have a building now.
No,
Much better.
no, doctor. I mean, are you in obstetrics?
No, we're down next to the elevator. Actually, they moved us up from the dispensary.
Doctor, now you know what I mean. Are you a GP?
No, I've been in this country all my life.
You're not a DP, you're a GP.
Here.
Doctor, what part of the human anatomy do you most frequently handle? That's what I'm trying to find out. You must treat your patients for something. When they come to see you in your office, they see your name. You have an office there.
I have an office there.
Yes, but wherever it is, and it says Dr. Richard Martin, MD.
Yes.
Now, what does it say just under your name?
Back at 3, generally.
If you're in the office, what does it say?
Oh, I'm a surgeon.
A surgeon.
C-E-R-G-O-N.
Surgeon. You're
G-I-N.
Doc, you're a general surgeon.
General surgeon.
As a matter of fact, your practice is limited to general surgery.
My practice is limited.
And you're
general surgery.
Yes, and as I understand it, Doctor, you do quite a bit of work for other physicians who do not do as much surgery as you.
That's very true.
They refer their patients.
They count on me, like the fellow says.
Well, and you also are on a consultation basis.
I'm in there drinking all I can.
No, I mean that if someone has a particular problem with a patient, you will sit in.
Oh, yes, I'll sit in anywhere. I just deal. I'm ready to go.
Well, I suppose that's a medical expression.
Yeah.
Doctor, what I wanted to point out as a surgeon, I know that you must be thoroughly trained.
Yes, well, I tell you, you should.
Well, of course, because of all men in medicine, a surgeon can't afford to make any mistakes.
Well, if we do, who's going to know?
Well, doctor,
we all wear those little masks. Nobody knows who did it.
Doctor, we all know those masks are to keep you sterile.
Huh?
Always understood, yeah. Well, Doctor, one thing I wanted to point out now, there must be thousands of young men around the country.
Well, there must be. I see them on the streets all the time. It's just amazing.
No. I mean, there are thousands of young men watching our show tonight.
Oh, good.
And I am positive that many of these young men watching have their sights set ahead on a career in medicine.
It's a sight-setting world.
Well, the country needs doctors.
We need country doctors.
We need all kinds of doctors and nurses.
And nurses.
Well, Doctor, it would be very nice of you to point out some of the trials and pitfalls ahead of these young medical students.
Well, there's one nurse on the 3rd floor.
No, Doctor. I mean, for instance, if you'd point out you just don't get to be a surgeon.
No, sirree, Bob. You've got to study.
Study.
You
have to study a long time. Where did you take your training, Doctor?
Well, I went to school in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful old city.
Yes, sir.
So many historical old buildings. Yeah. Say, did you ever visit Betsy Ross's house?
No, they closed all those places.
Oh, no.
Out there.
What the doctor meant to say, of course, with the new highways, there are so many of the old landmarks being destroyed around the towns. Wasn't that about it, Doctor?
No, that's not about it.
Well, I mean, it was something like that. And, Doctor, I think you could point out to these young men also who may be laboring under a misapprehension that that financial assistance on the outside isn't always necessary.
It certainly aren't.
It isn't necessary at all because
money, that's what you need.
Well, no, Doctor, I understand you're a self-made man.
I put myself through school and through classes. And I worked at night and on weekends and on Saturday and Sunday.
Is that so?
I worked in a steam bath since I'm 14.
Since you're 14
yes,
and
sir.
Put your way through medical school and everything. Well, Doctor, you're certainly to be commended.
Thank you.
And managed to graduate magna cum laude.
Magna cum laude.
Yes. Doctor, I know that many times carrying such a heavy workload, you must have felt discouraged.
I certainly were.
Felt that you couldn't go on.
Yes.
But you persevered.
I did that on weekends mostly.
I mean, you stayed right in there, Doctor. What held you up?
Bourbon mostly.
No, Doctor. I mean, what sustained you? I've often found that famous men, as a matter of fact, we always ask our guests this question. Do you have a personal motto, a creed that you have followed that has helped you?
Oh, isn't that funny you should mention that?
Why is
I
that?
cut one out of a magazine many years ago.
And this motto?
It was called Whiz Bang Western.
Well,
and I've carried it with me ever since. And every time I feel discouraged,
you think of this particular
I
motto?
think of it and look at it and read it.
And when things are just not going too well, this is what really gives you
Perks me up.
Well, would you mind passing your motto on? It might help some of these young men watching the show.
They
tonight.
wouldn't be interested.
Well, of course they would, Doctor. You go right ahead and your own motto.
Well, thank you. Right. The motto and saying that has helped me through life and through school, and it goes, step back as you walk and say to yourself, as these waves crash and then the moon is shining, certainly we could find a large one in amongst them. We can say to ourselves, isn't the moon shiny and the stars are stepping back? But isn't it awful that all of these things come down and say to us, walk along the road and the house beside the road? Sure, there's a house there, but we all know it not as a house, but as a little place that we can all go and get the cookies and the gingerbread. But we say to ourselves, look out for the little ones as they sneak through the trees, because these are the ones that are awful ones.
Excuse me, Doctor. Doctor, I wonder if you would repeat that.
No.
Well, I'm sure there was something in there for almost everyone. Well, Doctor, your work in the surgical field has certainly brought you world renown.
Well, thank you.
And you certainly deserve everything that you've gotten in the way of material rewards.
Thank you.
But I know there's a great deal of satisfaction in helping your fellow man.
There's a great deal of satisfaction.
Yes, because every doctor, and you particularly do a lot of clinical work, I know that you don't get paid for.
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. We feel that if a fellow comes in and needs an operation and can't afford it, we say, forget it.
Yes, well, that's just wonderful, Doctor.
We may touch up the X-ray, but that's about it.
Doctor, that's very reassuring to know that you're there to help people that can't afford these things.
Swell.
And besides that, I understand that you hold a fellowship in a research foundation.
Isn't it funny you should mention that?
Well, your work in animal husbandry has made you famous in that field, hasn't it?
What are you talking about?
Your experiments, Doctor. I know that as a famous research scientist, in addition to your surgical duties, that you must spend a lot of time in the laboratory. And I wondered if you'd mind telling us, without going into too many details, Doctor, about how much of your time do you spend in the laboratory as against the amount of time you spend in the field with your lab experiments.
Oh, that one! Well, we've been kind of fussing around with crossbreeding.
Crossbreeding.
We have just successfully crossbred a tiger and a parakeet.
Tiger.
It's not the easiest thing we ever did either.
How did you do that?
With whips. We said, go!
No. Well, that is fascinating. A tiger and a... What did you get?
We're not sure, but if he talks, you better listen.
Doctor, yes. Well, Doctor, your work certainly, as I say, has paid off.
Thank you.
Of course, there are many rewards other than the material rewards for a physician today.
Money, yes.
But I mean, you're famous. I believe I just read about you in Winchell's column, didn't I?
I'm getting married next week.
This is your first marriage?
First time out.
Well, congratulations, Doctor. Tell me, are you marrying a member of the profession? One of your nurses, and a doctor.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Betsy Ross.
Oh, no. You meant a colleague, doctor.
No, a little girl I met in the steam bath.
see, in the steamer. Well, that is interesting. Doctor, there's brings up a rather curious problem, I would imagine, now, as a man that's on duty 24 hours a day. Now, you're a medical man, you're marrying a lay person. Do you think that that it's going to be possible for...
Do you know her?
No. No, I haven't had that pleasure, Doctor. But you know, the whole world seems to be talking about one subject today.
Oh, how about that?
I'm speaking of the population explosion.
Oh, isn't that a serious one?
Oh, it certainly is.
I was reading about it in Field and Stream today.
Well, as I say, everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
But the overpopulating the Earth getting to be such a big problem. Now, Doctor, what do you think about birth control?
Well, I figure what the hell.
Oh, no, Doctor. I want to know exactly, if you don't mind, a more specific answer. You're a doctor. You know about these things. You're getting married next week.
Yes.
It's your first marriage.
First time out.
You plan to have a large family?
Well, we'd like to have about 7 or 8 kids.
Is that a fact?
Yes.
Well, now, a lot of people only seem to want 2.
Well, we have 2 already.
Oh, come on. Get one.